Hello, my name is Janetta Olaseni. I am the Registered Nurse Administrator at Hanson Compassion Midland location in Abilene. I was asked today by Stephanie Johns to do a quick video and small testimony about my experience with the diagnosis I received last year of breast cancer. Being that this is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, it's very important for all of us to be preventative. No matter what our age, no matter what our race, no matter what our nationality is, our culture, wherever you come from, the word cancer has always been like the big C or the big like shake or scare. But we all know that cancer has actually, that diagnosis for people have really changed. I mean, it's not always a death sentence for people, and especially if you catch it early. And that's really what this video is about early detection and also prevention. I'm a firm believer of that, and just to kind of go into a little bit of the testimony, and I won't give you the whole thing because it'll probably be way too long, but I would love to come in person to be able to do that one day. But I will just share a little bit about what happened to me. Around last February sometime, I was doing my own self-exam, just like I'm telling you, that's very important, and I felt a lump on my left breast. And so I went straight to my GYN and I told him about it, and he was like, well, Janetta, I mean, you're only 38, you don't have any family history, but guess what, we'll go ahead and do a mammogram, we'll do an ultrasound on it, but I really don't think you need to worry about it. So he said, but if you start having pain with it, I want you to go and talk to the surgeon and see if you can have it removed. Well, of course, I mean, at the time, I'm not going to just go ahead and just automatically assume that it's cancer, because it could have been a cyst, it could have been fibroid tissue. I mean, it could be all kind of different things. Me and my nursing mind was starting to go around with that. So I was thinking he may be right. So let me just go get a mammogram and ultrasound and get this thing checked out. Well, lo and behold, everything came back negative. Now, keep in mind, from that time, February on to probably about May time, it started filling up with a lot of fluid. My surgeon didn't have an idea about why this was coming up, why it was filling up with fluid. They had gave me a diagnosis of a normal cyst, and I don't know about you, I don't know anything about a cyst being normal, so I had got to a point where I really didn't even want that anywhere near me. So after I had the problems with the pain, problems with this, the fluid, and just the streaking with the red and stuff, I was like, look, whatever we have to do, lumpectomy or whatever, let's get this thing out. So I did. I finally went to my surgeon, and I went on ahead and scheduled for a surgery to have it removed. This was around August. So keep in mind, from February to August, this whole time I'm thinking that nothing is there, that it's not cancerous, that it's probably just a normal cyst. So around August sometime, and she went in to go do the lumpectomy. Come to find out, this so-called normal cyst had went from 2 centimeters to about 6 centimeters at that time. So when it had went to 6 centimeters, she did not want to remove it because she would have to remove half my breast. So she didn't feel like that would be a good choice to go ahead and do that. But when she was there, thank God, she went on ahead and did a biopsy. So I received a call from her probably about a few days after to let me know that the diagnosis was invasive ductal carcinoma. If we know anything about that, what that diagnosis means is that it does have a chance to spread, and that means that you have to kind of act pretty fast in whatever treatment is that you want to do, because it's invasive and they think it was maybe in the ductal area. So they wanted to make sure that whatever it was that took place, that it took place pretty quickly. So of course I went with my medical knowledge and said, okay, let's throw the kitchen sink at this thing. Whatever I have to do, let's do it. So we did chemo for 5 months, and the treatment plan was to do chemotherapy, radiation therapy, and then try to do a lumpectomy, because the whole thing about the chemo, of course, was to shrink it down enough so that way we can go in and just remove it. Well, it's so just really awkward how this thing ended up developing, because it actually went from now 6 centimeters to 8 centimeters, and that was at the end of the chemotherapy treatment, which was supposed to be the thing to help me shrink. So of course we're like, oh my goodness, what are we going to do? We're probably just going to have to do a mastectomy and just, forget about the lumpectomy. So I ended up checking myself into MD Anderson, and they pretty much said the same thing that the people say here. Janetta, you will have to go ahead and have the mastectomy. And just, let me just take a break right quick from the testimony. I do want to let people know out there that's watching this video, you may be suffering with cancer, and it may not be breast cancer, it may be a different type of cancer. You may have a family member that has suffered from breast cancer, or that is a survivor of breast cancer. Whatever it may be, cancer does not change you. You can actually change the cancer. And that's what I had to learn throughout everything. Even my employees here didn't even know I was on chemotherapy, because that was one thing that I wanted to do, was that I wanted any situation I was facing to make me better. What I call it is courage under fire. You have to be brave. You have to, if you know you've been diagnosed with something, somebody else down the line is looking at you, and they're going to want to see how they're supposed to react. So of course I am a Christian, and we did a lot of praying about this situation, and I did everything I knew how to do in the natural. I need everything mentally, spiritually, just focus on self-awareness, and then that's what kind of led me more into the alternative route of medicine. So I did start a natural medication or natural nutrition program from a doctor that's out of California, and he put me on a whole spectrum of 60 minerals, 16 vitamins, 12 amino acids, EFAs, selenium. So I did all of this stuff, and after about 2 months after chemotherapy, I got on that program, and to God be the glory. The diagnosis was totally reversed. They had said that when they did the biopsy that it was 35% hormonal breast cancer, because it went from invasive ductal to 35% hormonal breast cancer. That was the diagnosis. So after I took the natural route and did all my alternatives, after those 2 months, it actually changed from 35% hormonal to triple negative breast cancer, which means that I didn't have any hormonal involvement, which for some people, triple negative breast cancer may even still look aggressive because they don't know where it's coming from. But the good thing about mine was that after all of the scans that they ran on me, I didn't have a trace of cancer in my body, period, after this. So yes, I do believe in miracles. Yes, I do believe in God using vehicles for each and every one of us, and they all may be different. And that's not even why I'm here. I'm not here to tell you about the vehicle that I use. I'm here to let you know that you can be brave, and that you can offer support to people that are going through what they're going through, and that it doesn't have an age limit. I don't care if you're 38, if you're 58, if you're 88. Cancer has no name, no age, and no color. So my thing is, be preventative. Always do your breast exams monthly. The first step to any breast exam is the look method. You want to put your hands on your hips, and you want to look at both your breasts. Don't be alarmed, because of course your breast can sometimes be one bigger than the other, and that's just how it is. That's how God made us. So don't be alarmed about that. But what you're looking at is symmetry, what we call symmetry. You want to see if it's a profound difference, if it's dimpling, or if it's starting to look different, or having a little bit of swelling or any type of pain. Look for of course obvious things when you're looking at both breasts to see how they're lining up and how the difference is from one to another. That's the first step. And the second step is your feel method. You want to make sure, I always do mine in the shower, because I just think the shower is the best, because you got soap, and you can really get a good lather going. And I always like to really press in when I'm checking for my lymph nodes under my arm. This is very important, because the one that, and I didn't tell you about this because like I said, I had so many testimonies wrapped into one, but they did find a lymph node involvement at the time, and thank God that was negative. But what happened was too, they found that on the ultrasound. So because it was so deep, they go in with that, and they go in really deep. But you can actually do it yourself. When you're going through that exam, just go really palpate with these two fingers and go in really, really deep. Not hard, but deep enough, and then in a circle of motion to kind of see if you have anything. And then keep your fingers in contact with your breast or with your skin. You don't lift up when you're doing your breast exam. You want to keep it in contact and go around to see if you can actually feel something when you palpate. And also check for pain when you do that, because that's another sign of different things that may be going on. It could be a cyst, like I said, it could be a normal cyst, but you do want to go get that checked out. That is the key. Early detection is the key. Because, and I didn't add this in either, because by the time they end up finding out what type of breast cancer it was at 35% hormone, I was in stage 3B breast cancer. So we all know it's only one more stage left. I mean, so I had to act really fast in whatever it is I was doing. And like I said, I believe in throwing the kitchen sink, medical, nutrition, anything I have to do to get over this hump. And thank God I did. So anyway, you want to do your feel method. You know, that's under your lymph nodes. Now remember, your clavicle bone is a very sneaky place where those lymph nodes hide sometime, and they can really be off. So you want to make sure that you're checking that too. You know, so go lightly, you know, right under your clavicle, and just see if you can feel anything that's not right. Okay? And you're going to do that, and you're going to do under your arms, and of course you're going to get to your breast. And you're going to go in a circle of motion. You're going to go like as if your breast is a clock. You're going to start wherever you want to, but make sure that you end right there again, and that you're going around in that circle. You can lift your arm behind your head. You can do it again, just all the way up like this, and then do it. But you know, it's many pamphlets, I'm sure, out there to tell you how to do it, but that's just what I do, and I do that on a monthly basis. And make sure that, you know, if you still have a cycle, to make sure that you at least try to do it a week after your cycle, because that's very important. Because of course you already know you have a lot of tenderness, you know, during your cycle time, and you don't want to get that mixed up with something that's really going on. So anyway, I just wanted to share those brief tips with you, my testimony, and some tips on this glorious Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Be brave, courage under fire. Let's check our boobs. Let's tell our children to check their boobs. Let's tell our family members to check their boobs. Let's go big, because we want to live healthy, long lives. God bless you guys, and I'll be so glad to see you in person. Bye.